in the studio.
Muna, please.
Oh, why do I keep forgetting? See, I told you I'm not booting right now, right?
The what they'll think is how she have Muna you're talking about.
So this is my default mode. So whatever thing is stored on my hard drive, whatever information is stored on my hard drive, that's the information that I'm churning out at the moment. So I apologize, my dear Muna. Sorry,
don't worry, just go on.
Sorry, apologies, Muna. Oh my goodness, how was your own weekend?
It was restful. Just I was sad. You know why?
Don't tell me this cash
is affecting me.
I'm not in the last 2 months, actually in the last 6 weeks. Let me not make it 2 months, but since you put up that video that I really enjoyed, the cash, you're not doing the cash on your videos, your WhatsApp status.
No cash again, no cash.
Please, because no Nigerians, it don't reach us. It touch us anyhow. I don't know, how are you coping on your end? Because I'm not excited at all. As in, I just see red.
Honestly, like
I'm seeing
last
red.
week you didn't see me here for like
exactly
days.
For a couple of days you weren't here. Imagine International Women's Day that we needed you, Women Supporting Women edition, we no see you. Oh my goodness, how about you? I don't know, maybe I shouldn't even just ask how about you. I guess if you ask one Nigerian, it is reflective across board. Everybody is feeling it. There's nobody.
The thing I don't like about some Nigerians is that some people, let me not just say Nigerians, because some people, that's how they are. Okay, now this cash issue is like this. Some people, some taxi drivers have decided that okay, they'll try to collect transfers, but some people are using it now because they know that they can't stay and be waiting for you that I say a lot, they have to move. So some of them just use, like the one I entered today, the man was like he's not going to collect any transfers because the ones that they did, people claim they did, that till now he hasn't seen anything, so he's stopping. So if we can't help ourselves, that you saw the opportunity, if of you to, and me, I was willing to transfer, he said no, he doesn't want again. He's
so he wants cash. Transfer.
It was cash.
Where does he expect people to get cash from? Did he not?
So long as you want to move, you have to
look for cash before you come into the taxes.
It was so painful because some of us now have to suffer for other people's evil
plans.
Evil plans.
Because anybody right now that is doing anything evil, I beg, please don't carry curse.
They are always to take advantage of situations like this, and
then we want Nigeria to be better. So every time we'll say Mr. President did this, but look at this one now. This is your regular everyday person that you see. Oh gosh, I went to the market on. Okay, must have been yesterday. I actually went to the market. I was looking at pineapple like this. I could not buy. I was looking at mango. I actually was ready to buy, but this human being came and decided to collect charges on his pay. I said, please, guy, it's not as if I cannot give you 100 naira, but everybody's taking 50 naira because my bank is still going to charge me for it. Then I asked myself, what am I even doing in the market? I heard one lady say, she said, at this point, please, anybody that can enter the market and bring the goods to her, she's ready to give them money. She doesn't want to do the stress anymore. So maybe that's what I'm actually feeling like. I don't know who sent me work. I went to cook fried rice this weekend. Who sent me work? And I was the only one. You know, fried rice is team effort. You cut carrots, you cut liver, you cut gravy. There was no team effort. Everybody was saying, Mom, when is the food going to be ready? Everybody was depending on me. So if you hear me sound a bit groggy, it's fried rice. I do not take any payo. Don't worry. I'm just tired I didn't have enough sleep this weekend. And so on that note, welcome to Perspectives. The last episode of Perspectives was quite enlightening. We thought it was World Kidney Day on Thursday, and so we had we had two doctors. We had one over the phone, and then we had Dr. Esther come into the studio, and she did a breakdown for us. And I'm sure it was a very enlightening, it was a very informative episode.
And see me that I was looking forward to a health talk.
Yes, and it was very, it was honestly, she was quite, she broke it down to us what the kidney does. And so I want to ask you, since Thursday now, have you been abiding by the rules? Have you been taking a lot of water? Have you been flushing? And then you know how we used to all focus on what we eat only, forgetting that the kidney does more than that as well. This kind of lotion you put on your skin, the lipstick you wear, everything is filtered by the kidney. And so we agreed that the kidney is doing extra work, and we have to take it extra careful. And these days, I mean, they say Nigeria Nigeria is, as in at some point, Nigeria, the highest cause of death in Nigeria, at number 3 position is kidney disease. Yes. And so because of all the concoctions we drink now, we say, give me a lot. Hey, you know the rest now. We don't gauge it. You just give me one shot. That one shot like I mean one jug.
If you ask them, they'll say my father is doing it.
Exactly. Then there was another thing we talked about, how people that it's prevalent, but people don't know that it's bad, because when in Nigeria we don't talk about cause of death. We just hide it under the carpet. So the village people were after him, and they keep it hush hush. So there's no documentation, because one of the things I asked the doctor was, do we have data for it? That how can you say 45,000 people die weekly, or 45,000 people are diagnosed every day from kidney disease? It's okay that they're just now doing a community-based data collection, or is it collation, to confirm the number of cases. Okay, now when they've done all of that, how do you now treat people? How do you manage? Because that was the theme, survival for all. How do you taking care of the vulnerable? Because there are already people living with this disease, they cannot afford dialysis. And we often say in Nigeria that you are one sickness away from poverty. Honestly. One sickness that can just wipe their bank accounts. And so in a political year where everybody's carrying on with politics, life moves on. Life does not wait for anybody. And so that brings us to the next point of our conversation this afternoon, the fact that Nigeria's first female senator, Franca Afegwa, passed on in the early hours of Sunday, March 12, 2023. I must confess, this woman is not mentioned in our history books. She's only talked of in political terrains. How is it that I know of Grace Alele Williams, I know of Margaret Ekpo, I know of Haja Gambo Sawaba, but I have barely, because only one soul, but it didn't sink in that she's Nigeria's first female senator until she passed on. How come it is not in our history books? How come our history books only talk peripheral level, on the surface level? We don't profile our own heroes or sheroes, as this case may be. So I'm not asking Muna all of those questions, because she's giving me a funny look to say, woman of God, where are you going with this? So I'm going to take a quick break. When we return, we'll be joined on this episode of Perspectives by someone who's been here before. So I'm just going to keep it a surprise. And when you hear her, you'll know who she is, right? Or should I just reveal? No, I wouldn't reveal.
But I have something to say.
Okay, please go on. Please go on. All right, go on.
Okay, so reading through her history,
yes,
I saw that she was a stylist. And
go on, I'm listening. I'm really good.
And I was impressed, because if people can see fashion designers, stylists as people that don't have high IQ, exactly.
But they only cut and join and they make it look good, but they might not have anything upstairs.
That's it. So I was really impressed that a hairstylist could actually be the first
Nigerian female senator. Did you know that also the Nigeria's first female Senate president, her name is Patricia Olubumiete. She was also a trained hairdresser.
You see?
Yeah. Wow. Africa's richest woman, I'm sure you've heard of Folorunsho Alakija. You've heard of her? Yes. She started out as a what they call tailors. There's a name for a fashion designer as well. Yeah. So it doesn't matter whatever life skill you have. When life happens to you,
some people are just passionate. It's not as if they are not intelligent as you think. But
okay. So
are just passionate about it.
Okay. So I found some write up about Mrs. Franca Afengboa, and it was from an event in 2019 when she turned 76, and so they said, okay, let me read it to you, that it was 40 years ago actually that she became the first female senator. She was only senator for 3 months, from October till December, or thereabouts. Yeah. So they said Afegwa in 1983 shocked the political world when she was elected as the senator of the Federal Republic under the platform of the then National Party of Nigeria to represent Bendel North. And they asked her, of course she became a source of pride to people of Edo State, especially because she's from Edo State, and for shattering that glass ceiling at a time when women inclusion in the political process in Nigeria was largely unrecognized. So even she did not think that it was something that will come to fruition. And it didn't matter even if it was just short 3 months, but it just opened the door for so many other people to come on afterwards. So after this break, I'm going to invite, I guess I will have a chit chat about the Nigeria's first female senator, Franca Afegba, who passed on yesterday at the age of 79. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Baba God, now your hand working. Don't be lying. Now your hand working. I say it no easy. To the sing and the dance and the people they rejoice. My brother, my sister, love you today. If you could do a party, make we the tango. Baba God, now your hand working. Don't be lying. I say no be lie, no be everybody. When sleep for night, you wake up, see the light, see the future is bright, I need the enter for eye, make you do your best, Papa God go handle the rest, even if you no get money, they jolly they shake body, no need to get your body, if it no be God way, that's when be dead body, nobody be no baby. When you fall, you go stand up again. You try him again and again. Cause it's not easy, To the sing and the dance and the people they rejoice, my brother, my sister, love you today. If you could do a party, make we the tango, Baba God, now your hand working. I see my people on a good day. Nobody wake up for this one to suffer. Then a bad day.
Alrighty, welcome back. You are still tuning in, listening to Perspectives here on Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja. Thanks for staying with us. I have Mona in the studio, and without further ado, I'm just going to put on our guests for the show today. She's been on Perspectives before, so she's no stranger to Citizen FM. We've had her a couple of times, on various programs here in the studio. And so I'm just going to say hello, Barrister Juliet. Don't worry.
Do you know that I'm actually...
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for doing this, Barrister Juliet.
Thank you.
It's so great to catch up with you. And Muna and I are so ashamed. We do not even call. Honestly, we feel bad. We thought that Fred would do all the heavy lifting for us. So, but let us. We're taking responsibility with our full chest. And yes, so I look forward to having many more conversations with you.
Thank you.
All right. So it was just a stroke of genius to have this chat with you. Why? Because when we're talking about Nigeria's first female senator this morning, okay, how do we spin the show? And then your name came up. It took me a while to click that. Oh my goodness, they're both from the same Edo State, Nigeria. And so I want to ask you, because I said a few minutes ago that why is Franca Afegba's name not in our history books? We grew up talking about, because 1983 to now is 40 years. I mean, so the Nigerian education school system should have had time to revise it. When we talk of women in politics, her name should have been mentioned. When we talk about Nigerian women in history who have shattered glass ceilings, her name should be mentioned, and not just in Edo State. It should be across board. But I mean, so I want to ask you, in Edo State, I know she's revered, she's highly thought of. How is she talked about the way, I mean, the wife of the governor of the current wife of the current governor of Edo State, that is Godwin Obaseki's wife, mentioned her on her 76th birthday. That's how come I found out that there was a Nigeria's first female senator. So, but apart from that, when did you first hear of her? And how did you react? How did that make you feel to know that there's a woman who has shattered glass ceilings ahead of you?
Okay. Honestly, the first time I heard of her was when I decided to read about, when I joined politics. That was 2021, like national politics to run.
Yes.
So I began to research about women who have actually shattered the ceilings. At this time, I was just 26.
Wow.
So I then started reading about other older women, but it was not necessarily to reach out to them for mentorship or anything.
Yeah.
Because now myself self-informed.
Yes.
See their strategies, their styles, and how they went about doing things. And there are some notable things I picked from her, even in Grania Grant from India, and a lot of other women, Joyce Banda, and all.
Yes, Malawi. Yes,
had to read about them. And then when I saw her legislative style, her unique ways of winning Nigeria's election in 1983 during the Second Republic, and the opposition she faced, even as an Edo woman, so it was more of a traditional environment, more traditional than what we have today, where we had a lot of conventional events taking place and also diluting some of our cultural practices. But this time it was intense, just barely 20 years after the independence, the colonial era. So it was something for me very, very enriching. So that was the first time I heard of her, and her lifestyle inspired me. One, she was beautiful.
Yes.
So I asked myself, so beautiful women can actually do great things.
Yes.
So who says that? Who gave the notion that beautiful women do not aspire to the top, do not contribute immensely, do not have a large heart as their face? So can their heart be?
Yes.
I think this was the first time I actually got to know about her. And there's so much more to talk about her as we proceed.
Yes, thank you so much for that quick recap of how you first heard of her. You know, so we were chatting with Muna just before you came on, and it just occurred to me that we had great phenomenal women like this. Why is it that even we women, we don't even, when we're talking about predecessors, we rarely mention to that place? I was saying her that we talk of the Grace Alele Williams of this world. We talk of Margaret Ekpo. I think Margaret Ekpo passed on just last year or 2 years ago as well.
Yes,
and so it's only now that Franca Afegbo has passed on, and it's in the social media era. Suddenly, I mean, you know, they say bad news spreads like wildfire, and so everywhere is agog with her passing. But like you said, it's very few people that know about her legacies. And you know, I saw an interview that was done on her in 2022. You know, she said, apparently she said, people know that women keep to their promises. That was a major factor, and that she wanted to keep her promises to the Edo people. That's why, you know, she went, you know, for the federal house. That's why she went, you know, that's why she took up the appointment. And so, so she said she remembers the day she was sworn in. She felt fulfilled that it did not stop her from continuing to engage with the women and youth in her community. Agitations for affirmative action to enable women get into legislature to address the low representation of women, of good women. And so she said, I'm happy we started something, and it is good others have built on our efforts. Let's take it from there. Barrister Juliet, you came out, you know, you were vying for the, what they call it, a seat. Yes, you tossed your hat in the game. I want to ask you, I know, I know we have not had this conversation since then. What do you think with the outcome of events? Looking back now, the elections are over right now. Does your quest for, what they call it, does it end here, or would you still do this again?
Not at all. In fact, it's fired up. I got to learn a lot of lessons, and I didn't blame myself, because what I saw was, as a young girl who actually has stepped into the, I would like to say more of a lonely field. Yeah, it's now time to also leave my own my seeds in the sands of time, my footprints in the sands of time, so that people too will be able to build upon it. But the thing is that, how much more am I going to do for people to actually feel the impact, not just how I ran the election? So I learned a lot of lessons. One is, we need to have, just like you've actually rightly stated, a compendium about women.
Yes.
Women's achievements for the years being, as Nigeria has evolved.
Yes.
Put them together, enlighten our women. What I found out in the race, that a lot of women have not understood the fact that it's actually possible for women to share the same table, equal with men, and be able to give their own quota, give their own God-given talent, give their own God-given skills to society. Because it was a very unfortunate situation. One time during the program, I met a woman who said, we're all on the panel, and I didn't even need to talk. The audience already spoke when she was like, a lot of women do not go in there. easier to actually make money too. So they are also like men. So let's just call all politicians the same. I was like, no. In this period where we're actually talking about good governance and many men are still coming out there to actually give their own heart, we should not actually make it seem that even women who are going there, women are not necessarily going there for money. True. There's so much women have to actually go and give back, and they have to actually build. So for us, it's more of a Herculean task for us as women, because you're also going there to clear the path for other women to come in, understanding it's a patriarchal world. And so a lot of people had to even join me in saying this, and I was like, no, so we don't even need to start talking about men, politicians all go there, including the women. No, it's very wrong. We are actually going on the message, and when we have this mindset that you're sending women to actually go and fulfill those tasks, fulfill this administrative task of making policies that are also female enabling, that are also youth enabling, make a lot of people feel they are part of the society, not that they are the second class citizens in the society. Yes, in the society they actually are born into. And so these are some of the conversations. So the compendium is very great. I will try as much as possible to also give my own inputs by researching about a lot of women, so we can have, even if it's leaflets, school books.
Absolutely. Honestly, I would join you on this one, because you are
so we can have our young girls understanding that there are ways we can show love and actually be very famous in the political terrain. So these are some of the things, because there's something about late distinguished senator Franca. She used her famousity, or the fact she was known in the hairstyling competition, and she used it to penetrate her society, and that was the Okpela women. Already she has built a name for herself, and these are the things I usually say even before now. Value to the table. What value are you bringing? So now there was dignity in hairstyling.
That was her labor.
Yes, and if you look at people like Folorunsho Alakija,
beautiful. I mentioned her a few minutes ago. Go on.
She was a fashionista, a tailor, a stylist. She was a seamstress, whatever name we want to call it, however we want to call it. These are women who have actually found value in their skill. And they actually, people actually celebrated this. It's not actually, we should not look at it as in a desperation, as out of people are not, there's no job, so these are second class jobs. No, we have to come to a time whereby whatever you do, if it's fishing, as I always say this wherever I was going to in my political journey, I'm a fish farmer. I'm always going to say this. I go out in style, I carry myself with confidence. So these are the things while making this leaflet to share to women and young girls, because I feel very, very sympathetic with even our young girls, because if they who actually are teaching this style, this elegance, this way of carrying yourself with so much confidence in and dignity of your labor, how then would they be able to know that they can contribute to political terrain even with their skills? And then also show love, and also they will find themselves in a terrain whereby women and youth are being able to vote for them. It was not easy for Franca to be able, late Madam Franca, to be able to remove George Umolu as a sitting senator in that election. It was something. These were some of the strategies she used, and she got the popularity and the heart of the people within her community. So these are some of the things we need to do. And then write history for those women. When I was even researching, I saw that it was even one Emeka Ezeka that had to write a compendium of great. The title of the compendium he wrote on the internet was a lot of people can go search it. It said five ground-based electoral cases in Nigerian history. So these are some of the things we need to capture a lot of our women, their impact, their strategies, and then before you know, we can actually give them, because now this.
Hello, Barrister Juliet.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. It was breaking just for a few seconds, but you have put it. In fact, I don't even know how to. It was very well said. So I was going to add two more things. Also, that Nigeria's first female Senate president, that's the person of Patricia Olubumiete. Did you know she was trained as a hairdresser and a beauty therapist as well? But she also earned a law degree from the University of Buckingham. And so you are right. So the thing is, women, we have always shown that we can wear several hats at the same time. And, the distinguished senator was just smack on it that, quoting Mandela, said it always seems impossible until it's done. And she did not just do the impossible in 1983, but she did something that women did not even think about before that. Oh my goodness, we cannot just be vying for as mothers or wives. We can actually go and take on political office and, and actually do quite well in the society. Thank you so much, Barrister Juliet. I'm so sorry that we cornered you into this. We have to go on a quick break, but if you don't mind, I could call you back after the break. But otherwise, you have done.
Right. No, fine.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much for staying with us. We have to go on that break now. I'll call you back right after the break. Thank you. So you've been listening to the voice of Barrister Juliet Isi Ikayere. She's a Kubwa FCT born young lady of Edo parentage. So you see how excited I was that, okay, who will I chat with about Franca Afengwa? And it was just right on the money. Barrister Juliet is also, of course, from Hane Barrister. You can tell she's she graduated from law school. She graduated from University of Benin at the age of 19, and of course went on to went on to Enugu State to read law, where she, of course, graduated from the Nigerian Law School and has called to bar as a barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. She has a master's degree in international maritime law, and in February 2022, she contested for a seat as a councillor to represent the people of Kubwa at the Buhari Area Council. She put her hat in the race for a seat in the Federal House of Representatives in the just concluded February 25th polls, and sad to say that she didn't clinch that ticket. But we know Barrister Juliet is going places. Definitely. And we are rallying right behind her. We have to go on that quick break now. After this commercial break, we'll be right back.
Sponsored by the Nigeria Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على Citizen FM Abuja.
We teach girls shame. Close your legs, cover yourself. We make them feel as though by being born female, they're already guilty of something.
So I think right now we have the chance to be heard, and that's why we're doing it. We're all doing it because we're asking to try and elicit change.
No woman should sit down and allow a man to speak about her reproductive rights.
But it is about opening spaces for other women and not to be seen as token, and that because I'm a woman, I'm only speaking about women at the table. No, I'm speaking about side of the table that is empty and that women have to be there. So
I want us to leave this world better than we found it. And how I choose to affect change is by speaking up, by being the first, and by being the dominant.
Over 4 billion of the world's population are girls and women, also faced with challenges that affect our world and contributing solutions to them. Let's have conversations and get some answers to them through their eyes and voices. Tune in to Perspectives, where we discuss important issues ranging from climate change, politics, health, the economy, and lifestyle on Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja. Weekdays from midday. Perspectives. Conversations that matter.
Celebrating our cultural pride is our core essence. Let's bring people together through communication as we say we would. Join us on Melting Pot every Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. as we meet elders from our different ethnic groups in Nigeria and bring you closer to your roots. Live on Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja. Melting Pot. Don't miss it.
Abuja. Wake up. Reach out. Speak up. Speak out. You are the voice of a new generation. And this is your station. Talk Radio 93.7 Citizen FM.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. This is to inform the general public that the holy month of Ramadan, the month of impactful rewards, and the month of blessings is here again. Therefore, we beseech Muslim faithfuls to sponsor our Ramadan programs such as Call to Prayers, Tafsir Quran, Qira'atul Quran, Ramadan Talks, Women of Jannah, Paradise, specially designed for the Muslimah, Children's Program for our young upcoming Ustaz, Dawn Program, Sahur Special, live on Citizen FM, and many more. Allah says, who will loan Allah a beautiful loan on earth, and Allah will build a house for him or her in Jannah. Talk to us today. Please call 0806 397 7823, 0812 0043990, or 0817 3964218. Let's partner to make it a Ramadan to remember.
We have 4 minutes more till it's 1 p.m. You are tuning and listening to Perspectives here on Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja. Just thinking about distinguished Senator Franca Afegwa. I never met the woman, and it's just sad that history hasn't done justice to her time in the house. So, but I just thought, what song can I play in honor of her memory? And so I thought of Onyeka Owenu's Iyo Gogo, Can't you know the song, right?
Yes.
And so that's why I'm playing this song right now, because if I say I should play a Thames or an Era Star, Kolewek, it's not going to
Gen Z.
yeah, exactly. So it's not going to cut it. I'm just glad that let me put it this way. I had a friend, Chris Hidero. Chris used to say something that we are growing old and the people who we met here are passing on, and that we're not documenting their journeys here. And he was saying it of the late Cyprian Ekwensi and Chinua Achebe. He talked about Wole Soyinka, Elechi Amadi. Have you seen any video? Have you any documentation where these people were actually recorded and interviewed to talk about? No, we don't have any such things. Someone mentioned that our Africa's largest television network, that all the recordings that we had in the 80s and 90s have been dubbed on, and so we don't have any documentation whatsoever. And so I wish someone had taken their time. I don't know if it exists, but it would be nice to know if she was ever documented. I'm talking of Franca Afegwa. If she was ever documented talking, it would be nice to keep it somewhere. Which is why I always say that we focus so much on political history. We don't talk about economic history. We don't talk about social history. We don't even talk our own heroes. We don't interview them and keep it there. Yeah, I was reading a book years ago, and it gave me the idea that, look, every sitcom, every comedy, every TV show in America, there's a historical movies. Historical movie library where you will find one episode. If it is Super Ted, it exists somewhere. Anything that was ever produced, they've recorded it somewhere. Why can't we do the same thing here in Nigeria? Tales My Moonlight. If you ask anybody, have you ever seen any old episode? Maybe random episodes on YouTube. Do you get? So proper documentation. So it's the same thing for our heroes past. How come we cannot do that now? Everybody is focusing on either getting a job in civil service or getting a job somewhere. But how can you preserve, I'm exhausted. I won't lie to you, Mona. So, the show is Perspectives, and today we're talking in memory of Nigeria's first female senator, who passed on in the early hours of Sunday. That is the person of distinguished Senator Franca Afegwa. And, the family has said that funeral details will be announced very soon. So I had earlier on discussing on the show Barrister Juliet Isi-Kiaere, and I'm so glad that she's also from Edo stock. And so she tells me how the distinguished senator she's a what they call it now, she's a role model in Edo State there, and everybody, she's highly thought of, and only good things are spoken of her often. So right after our news at 1 p.m. we'll bring Barrister Juliet back, and then we can talk more about how how we present day politicians, especially women, can create more room so that we all rise together, and then how to preserve these names in history and show girls that, look, you have role models in your Nigerian history here, that you don't have to look. Yeah, you can look outside. Anybody can be your role model, or anybody can be your role model, but look at home too, and look at the people here, how they have forged a path down this line. So just stay with us. We'll be right back after this break.
93.7 Citizen FM. Let's talk about it on our favorite radio station. We're more than just a radio station. We are a part of your life.
This is 93.7 Citizen FM, Abuja.
The time is 1 o'clock.
Time for news on the hour.
Good afternoon and thanks for staying with us here on Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja. Here's the news on the hour. 53 victims of the unfortunate train bus accident that happened at the PW area, Shogunle axis of Ikeja, Thursday in Lagos, have been discharged from the state's public health facilities after receiving medical care and management. The State's Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, stated this Sunday while giving an update about the accident. He said 39 patients are currently hospitalized at Lasus, 2 at the General Hospital Odon, Lagos, 2 at the General Hospital Bagada. Abayomi noted that the fatality figure remains at 6, with no other deaths recorded from the accident. The Commissioner had earlier briefing attributed the low casualty figure recorded to the effective triage strategy that was put in place and carried out first by the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, and the Lagos State Ambulance Services, and secondly by the management of LASUS. As extremist violence in West Africa's Sahel region spreads south towards coastal states, the United States military has launched this annual military training exercise aimed at helping armies contain the jihadi threat. Soldiers from several African countries have been trained in counterinsurgency tactics as part of the annual US-led exercise known as Flintock, which began this week. Some 1,300 military personnel from 29 countries are training in Ghana and Ivory Coast amid surging jihadi violence linked to the Al-Qaeda and Islamic State groups that kills thousands, displaced millions, and plunged countries into crisis. The U.S. says it wants to help African countries to stem the extremist threat before it spreads further across the region. Commonwealth Secretary General, the Right Honourable Patricia Scotland, KC, has assured that the body will continue to protect culture, tackle poverty, challenge injustice, and secure institutions of democracy among member states. Scotland stated this to mark the Commonwealth Day, which holds today. She also paid tribute to Her Majesty, the Queen Elizabeth II, for her 7 decades of service and welcomed His Majesty the King for his first Commonwealth Day as the new head of the Commonwealth. And that's it on the news on the hour. Stay with us. Perspectives continues shortly. Good afternoon.
Hello, Abuja. You are listening to 93.7 Citizen FM, the latest radio station based in Nigeria's capital. Our station seeks to broadcast a broad mix of culture and views with priority given to development programming to enable residents share ideas and opinions, music and drama. At Citizen FM, we believe in progressive talk and solution-driven conversation. Our aim is to build a united Nigeria by bringing people of diverse culture together through communication. Enjoy listening to 93.7 Citizen FM. We are more than just a radio station. We are a part of your life.
Welcome back. You're tuning and listening to Perspectives here on Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja. I'm Rayo. And of course, I have Muna in the studio with me this afternoon. Of course, we'd like to hear back from you. What are your thoughts? The Nigeria's first female senator passed in the early hours of Sunday. And so we're talking about her life and her legacy. And of course, what, had taken up the mantle what it meant, because it's past tense now, what it meant for Nigerian women 40 years ago. You don't believe it? So it's been 1983 to now is 40 years ago. So I know last week was International Women's Day, and so I must quickly talk to this I want to invite our guest back on. I want to invite Barrister Juliet. We spoke with her earlier on. If you have any questions, this is the perfect time to join in on the conversation. You can send us a message on WhatsApp on 0818 22 22 205, 0818 22 22 206. Barrister Juliet, thank you so much for doing this afternoon.
Thank you.
Yes. So I have, in fact, this just came to my mind now a few minutes ago, that last week was International Women's Day, and so happy International Women's Day to you. I apologize. I should have said that first because it's March and it's still Women's Month. Yes. Okay. So last week, I had a couple of women in the studio, and one of the questions I asked them was, do you think that let me put it like this. The United Nations Secretary General said, with the current state of things concerning gender equality across the world, that it will take us 300 years for women to achieve what it is that we want to achieve. So let's focus on Nigeria at the moment and say, how far will you say we have come across the world, and especially here